Hi everyone, I am State Senator Peter Wirth here in Santa Fe, and I'm here to talk to you about one of the bills that I have carried in each of the last 7 legislative sessions, which is a bill to close a corporate tax loophole here in New Mexico and level the playing field for New Mexico businesses. I'm also here to ask for your help. We have a session coming up, a legislative session that starts in the middle of January and runs for 30 days, so we have a short window. And I'm here to ask you to work together with your neighbors to get the word out on this bill and specifically to speak to your legislators about the importance of this specific bill and getting it passed. So let me tell you a little bit about what it does. New Mexico is the last western state with a corporate tax that allows multi-state companies, it gives them the option of expensing profits they earn here in New Mexico to a state like Delaware or Nevada where there is no corporate tax. And what happens when those companies do that is profits that are earned here in New Mexico are not taxed and the state loses that revenue. It's something that's fundamentally unfair to our New Mexico businesses because the New Mexico businesses are paying this tax and their competitors are not. And so why in the world would we allow multi-state companies that aren't based here to have a preference in our tax code? It makes no sense. And I've been working to try and close that loophole. Currently, the corporate tax rate in New Mexico for companies that earn more than $1 million is 7.6%. And one thing that's important, and you'll probably hear about this, this is a corporate tax that applies to what are called C corporations. They're the big corporations. They're not the mom and pop shops like my law firm that pass through income with an LLC, a limited liability company, or what's called an S corporation. Those companies pay 4.9%. But for big companies here in New Mexico, banks, retailers, oil and gas, extractive industries, there's a different rule for the multi-states, and we're trying to simply level that playing field and have the same rule apply across the board. One thing we're doing this year that's a little different, that actually sweetens the pot, it's been argued that this bill is a new tax increase. Well, of course, we're not changing the rate. In fact, we're going to lower the rate. So the rate's 7.6%. We're not increasing the rate on anybody. We're simply bringing in all the companies that have been given this option of using the loophole and creating an across-the-board tax that's fair and applicable to all the businesses that file this kind of tax. What's key here, though, is that this year we're actually going to take that 7.6% tax rate and we're going to lower it down to 7%. So think about this. If you are a New Mexico business that pays this tax, you win twice. Your tax rate's going down, and your competitors who've been using the loophole now have to pay the same tax. It levels the playing field. It is fundamentally unfair that we have a different set of rules for companies that aren't based in New Mexico, and that's what we're trying to close with this bill. So I've carried the bill for 7 years, and I have yet to get this bill to the floor of either house. Obviously, with the energy that exists now around fairness and equity, I think it's a perfect opportunity to educate my fellow legislators. And that's why I need your help. I meet with the legislators and ask them to support this bill as it goes through the process. The other thing you can do, we have an online petition. There's been a phenomenal response. Over 3,000 people have signed the online petition, which is going to ask the governor and the legislature to close this loophole and level the playing field for New Mexico businesses. So I need your help, and certainly hope you can come up once we go through this kind of layout of the bill, come up to the legislature, participate in our hearings, and it's my hope that we can close this loophole and really put some fairness back into our tax code. Thanks a bunch.